I never expected our road trip to turn into a nightmare. What started as an exciting adventure with my friends quickly morphed into a spine-chilling experience that none of us could forget. The signs were there, lurking beneath the surface of our excitement, but we were too caught up in the thrill of the journey to notice. It all began on a crisp autumn morning. Sarah, Mike, Alex, and I gathered around my trusty old van, stuffed to the brim with snacks, camping gear, and a playlist of classic rock tunes that would have made any road trip memorable. Our destination? The mysterious and supposedly haunted town of Hollowbrook, nestled deep within the woods. The drive started out like any other trip. Laughter, music, and the sound of the engine roared in unison as we cruised down the highway. But as we veered off onto the less-traveled Hollowbrook Road, an eerie sensation crept over me. The air grew colder, and the woods seemed to press in around us, their towering trees casting long, twisted shadows across the asphalt. "You guys feel that too, right?" I asked, my grip on the steering wheel tightening. Everyone exchanged nervous glances, but Sarah brushed it off with a laugh. "Come on, it's just your imagination playing tricks on you. Let's keep going." So we did, hoping Sarah was right. But then, the van's radio started acting up. Static crackled through the speakers before a haunting, distorted voice emerged, whispering words that sent a shiver down my spine. "Turn back. Turn back." I slammed on the brakes, my heart racing. "Did you all hear that?" The others nodded, pale faces staring at the radio as the voice faded into nothingness. Alex's uneasy chuckle did little to ease the tension. "Just a prank, probably. Keep driving," Mike insisted, though his voice wavered. I hesitated, but eventually I stepped on the gas, convinced that whatever had just happened was just a glitch. But the road ahead was different now, like a portal into another world. The trees seemed twisted, their branches clawing at the van as if trying to keep us away. The sky turned a foreboding shade of gray, and the air grew colder, seeping into our bones. As we continued, things grew stranger. Mile markers that had just passed seemed to reappear ahead of us. The road stretched on endlessly, and our surroundings felt like they were closing in on us. Panic started to take hold as I glanced at the GPS, only to see the map spinning wildly, unable to pinpoint our location. "Okay, something is seriously wrong here," Alex said, his voice shaky. But before we could discuss it further, the van's engine suddenly died. We rolled to a stop in the middle of the haunted highway, surrounded by the oppressive silence of the woods. I turned the key in the ignition, but it was useless. The van was dead. "Great, just great," Sarah muttered, her frustration evident. Out of options, we grabbed our flashlights and stepped out of the van. The air was thick with an almost tangible tension. The woods were unnaturally still, and a sense of dread hung in the air. With nothing else to do, we decided to walk back the way we came, hoping to find help, or at least a signal for our phones. As we walked, the world around us continued to twist and distort. The trees seemed to whisper, their leaves rustling with an otherworldly cadence. Shadows danced on the edge of our vision, and strange figures darted among the trees, disappearing whenever we turned to look directly at them. "I've had enough of this. We need to find a way out," Mike said, his voice trembling. Just as desperation settled in, a faint light appeared in the distance. We quickened our pace, drawn toward it like moths to a flame. As we reached the source, our hearts sank. It was the van, sitting abandoned in the middle of the road. "This can't be happening," Sarah muttered, her eyes wide with disbelief. And then we heard it, a haunting melody that seemed to emanate from the depths of the woods. It was a tune that felt both familiar and foreign, luring us deeper into the darkness. The air grew colder, and the sensation of being watched intensified. "Guys, we can't stay here. We have to go," Alex urged, but it was too late. The woods had us in their grip, and as the melody grew louder, the shadows around us coalesced into twisted, nightmarish forms. We ran, stumbling through the undergrowth, the melody pursuing us relentlessly. Each step we took seemed to lead us deeper into the heart of the haunted woods, until there was no turning back. And so, there we were, lost, frightened, and trapped in a world that defied all logic. Our road trip had taken an unimaginable turn, leading us to a place where reality and nightmares intertwined. As the melody continued to play, echoing through the trees, we knew that escape was futile. We were now just another chapter in the haunted history of Hollowbrook, forever bound to its eerie embrace. So, dear reader, if you ever find yourself on an unfamiliar road, surrounded by whispering trees and haunted melodies, remember our story. And if you hear a voice urging you to turn back, heed its warning. For not all roads are meant to be traveled, and some journeys can lead you to places from which there is no return.